What's up everybody, it's me Murdock, and today I got a review for you for the latest film written and directed by James Gunn and the latest entry into the DC Extended Universe, The Suicide Squad. It's a follow-up, reboot, sequel, all-around do-over of the 2016 film Suicide Squad. It keeps the same general premise, but this time has a mostly new team. The film follows a group of various villains from the DC universe as they participate in intelligence officer Amanda Waller's Task Force X project. The rules and the premise are simple. There's a group of convicts sent on a covert ops mission, and if they survive and complete the mission, then they get 10 years off of their prison sentence. They also have microscopic remote control bombs that are implanted into their necks that are set to be detonated if they try to escape or go against the mission protocol. The recipe allows for a seemingly endless number of installments featuring different teams and missions to allow the DC universe to introduce us to lesser known characters. That's also why I guess it was so easy to just go ahead and try to redo the original Suicide Squad only 5 years later. And I guess right away I'll just answer the biggest question that most people have about this film, which is this movie better than the original Suicide Squad? The answer is yes. 100%. Obviously. Absolutely. There's no question there. I mean, it's not that hard to make a film better than the original Suicide Squad. And while yes, I'm aware that there was a tremendous amount of studio meddling with that film, and director David Ayer has repeatedly stated that his original vision was compromised and butchered in the editing process, but in the end of it all, what we got with the final product was a mess of a film. It seems, however, that Warner Bros. Has hopefully learned their lesson, because apparently they gave James Gunn complete creative control and allowed him to do whatever he wanted with the film, and it shows. This is without a doubt a James Gunn film, and I think that your enjoyment of the movie is gonna be based around whether or not you like his style. Personally, I was a fan of Guardians 1 and 2 to different degrees. I don't think that they're perfect films and they have some obvious flaws, but I still enjoyed them for what they were. And honestly, I feel the same about this one. James Gunn has established a very clear formula with his past two Guardians films, and he kind of just pulls off the exact same trick once again with this movie. A ragtag team of characters who want nothing to do with one another get grouped together and end up becoming an unlikely team of heroes who have to band together to complete a very important mission. It worked with the Guardians movies, and it works here. I just hope that in the future, after Guardians 3, that James Gunn is able to switch up this style quite a bit, because I think that tackling a third franchise with the same color by numbers formula will be a bit much. So what works in this film? First of all, the characters. Gunn is known for his character work, and it's on full display here. I can go around and spend time stating what I liked about each and every character, but in the end what it boils down to is that everybody in Task Force X did a really great job with their roles. They each had their own moments of backstory and clear character development from the beginning to the end of the film. If you've seen the trailers or even the posters for the movie, then you know that this movie has quite a large cast. But I don't think it's much of a spoiler to state that some of the characters have a significantly larger role than others. But even the ones who had smaller bit roles made their limited time on screen memorable with their performances, and some of them even had my favorite lines of dialogue or jokes in the whole movie. If any of the characters were a letdown, it would probably have to be the Thinker, who was played by Peter Capaldi. And that's not saying that he was bad in the role. He did a fine job performance-wise. I just think that the character ended up becoming just basically a plot device who was there to lay down some heavy exposition about the mission that our characters were on. One complaint that I had about the Guardians films was the lack of well-choreographed action sequences, but the Suicide Squad definitely corrects this by having some very entertaining and memorable action scenes scattered throughout the movie. There's two fight scenes in specific that really stood out to me. The first one was based around Harley Quinn, who by herself takes down a large number of thugs, and it was just very well executed and super stylish. This is also probably my favorite portrayal of Harley Quinn in a live action film so far. She had some great choreography in her action scenes, and she also has some great moments that show who she is as a character and how she's evolved throughout her past on-screen appearances. The second action scene that really stood out for me was one in which Idris Elba's character Bloodsport and John Cena's character Peacemaker are taking down a group of enemies, and they're competing with each other to see who can get the cooler kills. It was just really funny and well done. These two characters in specific are also really dope. Bloodsport is always just taking out new pieces of tech from his suit and using them to just come up with and create new guns to take down his enemies. And John Cena as Peacemaker was just really great. He really captured the character that the film was going for in a way where his character was so unlikable, but he's just so committed to the role acting wise that he just ended up becoming really funny, and I just couldn't wait to keep seeing more of him. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for the Peacemaker show coming to HBO Max. But overall, all of the action scenes display the characters' individual personality and power sets through its execution, and it really gave each of them their own moment to shine and to really show who they are and what they're about. Also, this movie is rated R, so it's it's heavy on the brutality. People get straight up slaughtered in this film, and they show it. If you're somebody like me who likes ultra-violent action and creative kills, then you're gonna enjoy those bits of the movie. But it's definitely not gonna be for people who are more squeamish about gore and violence. To me, it's just always really satisfying as a superhero fan to see comic book characters show off what they're fully capable of with their power sets, as opposed to when they have to tone it down to give it a more heroic tone or a family-friendly rating. James Gunn is also known for his signature style of humor, and the jokes here are being shot out at full force. I don't think that every single joke lands here personally, but I think that there were more than enough that did, and the ones that really landed really had me cracking up. I love the scenes where the characters are just having a conversation and their clashing personalities just lead to witty one-liners being spit against one another. The film's a bit over 2 hours, and if I'm being honest, I think the movie could have benefited from trimming down its runtime just a little. It starts off really strong, but the ending middle of the section just drags a bit. There's a lack of action scenes for a stretch of the film around that time, and there's some scenes that I think could have been shortened or just cut out completely just to make the movie's pacing flow a little bit better. The plot of the movie is also good, but I don't think it's anything amazing. It can become a little disjointed at certain times because there's constantly new layers being added to the mission. Whether it be stuff about the history of the island that they're on or new secrets being uncovered, it just felt to me at some times like Gunn was adding a little bit too much to a plot that didn't need to be as detailed as it was. The mission starts off pretty straightforward, but by the end it gets a little bit convoluted, and not every aspect to the story really got enough time to fully make it stick out. Also, in the most non-spoilery way that I can describe, I think that the ending of the film wraps up a little bit too quickly and conveniently for my taste. I just think they could have spent a little bit more time making the final battle more impactful and memorable for all of the parties involved equally. But in the end, I had a really good time with the movie. I think that there's some issues with the storytelling, which is something that I've kind of come to expect with James Gunn, but his dedication to giving the main cast of characters clear personalities and clear character development from the beginning to the end really carried this film. He was able to make characters like Polka Dot Man or Ratcatcher 2 the hearts of this film somehow in a way that only James Gunn could have done. There's some great ultra-violent action and some very memorable and funny lines throughout the film as well. Also, quick shout out to Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. I didn't realize that I needed this casting in my life, but now that I have it, I'm so grateful for it. I think that if you're a fan of James Gunn and you just want to have a fun time in the theaters, then you're probably going to enjoy this one. But if you're a DC fan who likes their movies a little bit more dark and gritty and super serious, then this probably isn't gonna be your cup of tea. I enjoyed it though. I just wanted to see a violent, fun, and funny Suicide Squad movie, and that's exactly what I got. I'll definitely be giving this movie a second watch at some point, so I'm gonna have to give it an A-. But that's just my opinion, and I want to hear yours, so let me know in the comments. What did you think of the film? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was there something that I didn't bring up that you particularly liked or disliked? Leave me a comment below. I'll read it, I'll reply, and we'll have a discussion about it. And while you're down there, if you could do me one big, huge favor and like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, that would help me out so much with getting my videos out to a bigger audience. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'm Murdock, and I'll catch you next time.